So this is Aditya. We are in middle of the session, which we're talking about about JDBC. Okay. So in our last classes, we have discussed how you can connect from Java to the Oracle DB using some basic steps, and then we have used the same steps in every example that we have discussed. And last class we discussed about prepared statement. That is what we have stopped at. So we'll have just a recap of kind of thing for prepared statement, and then we'll move on to the topics that we need to discuss today. Okay. I'm looking for the prepared statement topic. Okay, so prepared statement. In JDBC API, you can create two type of statements. One is a statement object. Another one is a prepared statement object. The difference between statement and prepared statement object is they both. First thing is they both are used to execute queries on the DB side, but there are some differences if you compare those two things. If you want to know the differences, the first one would be statement would be used for all kinds of applications. Like if it is a select, if it is an insert, if it is an update or delete, anything. It could be used for anything. A prepared statement is also in the same manner, but the basic difference is statement is little slower than prepared statement. Okay, and the reason would be statement. If you are writing 100 statement objects and then executing them using a statement object, that means 100 times query parsing is done. Parsing is nothing but there are 4 steps involved in it: query tokenization, okay, syntax check, optimization, okay. The fourth one would be execution. So these are the 4 steps that we have discussed in the first class when we are talking about any query. Okay, it is not just this query. Any query you write will be going through all these 4 steps. Okay, and now if you are using a single query for 10 times, say if you want to insert an employee, and then you are using it for 100 times, insert into employee 1, insert into employee 2, insert into employee 3, like that you are using it for 100 times. What happens when you are executing using a statement for 100 times for the same query? What it will do is it will do the 4 steps for each and every query that you have written. Say insert into say it is a student table. Okay, insert into student values, and then say, for example, if has an ID of 123, we'll give ID, and then if he's from any branch, for IT branch, we can give IT, and then which year it would be, first year. So if you are going to insert a student record in the student table, you will do it like this. But what happens if you do the same same thing for like 100 times? Every time the syntax is same. Say for example, if you look at this, the syntax is same, but since you are using it again and again for 100 times, all the 4 steps here, the tokenization, the syntax checks, the optimization and execution is done for all the 100 times, which is going to decrease your performance because you're doing the same step every time, even if the syntax is same. So in order to avoid this kind of situation or improve the performance of the Java program or the JDBC program, what you do is you create a prepared statement. I mean, from connection object itself, we actually prepare a statement or prepare statement. So I've just written that syntax. This con is nothing but the connection object. We generally, we can write anything. We can write CON, and you can write depending on what variable that you have used to define the connection object. Okay, so now prepared statement object. So prepared statement object. Say for example, if you are same example, if you're writing the query for 100 times, you don't need to write it for 100 times. All you can do is insert into student values, and then you give question mark. Okay, so now insert into student value the question mark. So what are we doing here? We are not directly giving any value to the any value in the sense this one, the values that you want to insert. So we are not giving them straightforward. We are making them as arrow mark, so that they will, if they are coming dynamically, then you will be able to set the values. Say for example, the first one is string. You mentioned the first one I want to set as 1002. Now next, later on, okay, it takes 3 values, so you have to give 3 values. Section would be 5th standard. It could be anything, just the data format change. Okay, we are here. If you see, we are mentioning a string. That's why we are giving string, and it all depends on what database column data type that you have defined. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind and then define this variables. So likewise, you can set n number of values to the prepared statement, and the advantage that I was talking about is only the optimization and execution will be done. Tokenization and syntax check will not be done in case of prepared statement. Okay, and it is very dynamic also. Here you need to hard code it kind of thing, but here depending on the values that are coming from the DB or coming from the user, you can take a for loop and loop the same thing, and then get the values inserted into the table. So this is called as performance improvisation using prepared statement. Okay, this is one way you can improve the performance. So that is the main reason that people or everybody tend to use prepared statement. If you have any question, please ask me. Got any question till now? So now we have seen prepared statement, how you can, what are the advantages, how you can declare, right? So let's see that in the code itself. Let's look at how that syntax. So example syntax is prepared statement PS equal to corner prepared statement, and then you send the query that it wants to get repeatedly executed. So in order to set the values, you have to give the pst.set in string or float, depending on what value that you are actually specifying. Okay. So when JVM, it's saying when JVM encounters this instruction, it will set the values in the parameters, whatever are defined in the question marks, and then execute it. Okay, and it will be very, very fast if you compare it with the statement object. And since this is a small demo or an example, I can say, that's why it's a little hard to show you the difference. But once it is deployed, and then when someone uses it, or if you want to look at the differences, really how it is performing, then you can have a look at it. You can do that. You can do that. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so a prepared statement, let's see an example with that. In this example, we're going to look at how you can create prepared statement object and see how it can be implemented. I mean, everything would be same. The 5 steps that we have discussed, like uh, the first step is registering and loading the driver, getting the connection object, and then creating the prepared statement or statement. The third step, fourth step would be executing the query, and fifth step would be closing the connection. So everything would be same. Only the third step define how you can create a prepared statement or statement is what it differed from. Okay. Okay. So now. Uh, so prepared statement, what I'm doing here is I want to insert a couple of insert queries into employee table so that we can see how it is work, how it will work. Let's change the name to Raj 1006 and accounts ACCT. Okay, so now what are we doing here? We are creating a prepared statement object. First steps are common. Registering and loading the driver is common, and then getting the connection object using your local database username and password is common. If you're using Oracle, this would be a syntax. And then moving on, the third step, what we are doing here is we are creating a prepared statement object, insert for loop, which is not needed. We can place it outside also. Sorry. Okay. So now we'll define it for once, and then inside the for loop we want to iterate it for 10 times so that there will be 10 records inserted into this prepared statement objects using these values. Okay, they are not actually same values. If you see, I'm incrementing the name, so it would be, first one would be Raj 1, Raj 2, Raj 3, and then this would be 1006 1, 1006 2, and like that. But set string, this is I'm not able to change it. Let's keep it that way, or you can name it like this, plus I. Okay, there's no problem. And now executing the application, executing the program. This is step 4. Okay, and the last step is closing the connection. Let's see how this performs now. Okay, it did not give any output here because we have not printed anything, but this execute update has inserted 10 values into this employee table. So how we can see it is we have this select start from employee program, I mean a Java program, which will give you the values that are defined inside the table. Okay, let's run this. Okay, now see there are 10 records for Raj. Raj 1, starting with Raj 0, Raj 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9. So this door 0 to 9 would be 10. We have just inserted using prepared statement object, which is very fast when compared to statement object. Okay, so this is how you can use a prepared statement object. Okay, any questions? We can stop, or we can go to the next topic. Okay, fine. So the next one would be batch updates. Batch updates are nothing but by name itself you can figure out that when you want to update lots of queries, and then you can do it at once using the batch updates technique. Prepared statement, what it will do is it will just update only one type of query, but batch updates you can add an insert, you can add update, you can add delete, any query you can add to a batch and then send them to a server. It is like for example, simply saying in English terms, instead of sending simply instead of sending 1 hour email per 1 hour to your friend, maybe you can consolidate all the emails that you're sending for 1 hour into one email to the end of the day and send them to your friend, so that it is easier for you to type all the things, it is easier for your friend to read everything in one mail, and it is easy to maintain also. If you go back and think of when did I send that like if say any topic you want to search, it will be very hard for you, since there will be 10 mails. You have to go and search for every mail. If it is one mail, you can go and search for easily. So likewise, it's not for searching purpose, I'm telling you, it is for executing purpose. Say for example, there are 100 queries in your Java program and you want to execute them. Of course, the way would be using prepared statement, but there are along with the update statements, there are 10 insert statements and 5 delete statements. How would you do that? You can't do that with the help of prepared statement. So in order to achieve this, you have batch updates. Okay, and batch updates, what it will do is it will bundle all the queries into one. It is not actually one query, but it will call the DB only once after you have added all the type of queries that you want to execute. Okay, and this will also improve the performance way better than prepared statement, but this is rarely used because nowhere you want to execute multiple number of queries at a time, which is very bad. What you maximum do is you do only once, but you join many tables to get the result. Okay, that is the only thing which we do regularly, but I mean, it depends on the user or the requirement that you want to take. So in case of batch updates, we will gather all the application group SQL queries and a single unit called as batch, and send batch of application group queries to at a time from Java application to DB. So as I've told you, we have bundled, we will bundle or add all the update queries or any queries to batch updates, and then let them execute on the SQL server. That means nothing but the database. Okay, so now how you can use the batch updates techniques. The batch update techniques is nothing but it is similar to prepared statement, but it has its own syntax to add all the queries to the batch. So the first one would be you have to know is public void add batch, and it takes a string SQL query. It takes just a string. You can think of it as a string. SQL query will lead you to mislead you, because it's a query, normal query like select star from or update query or delete query. So an add batch method is used to create one query for execution, and second time if you want to add, you can call the add batch again and then add the second variable also. Okay, we'll see that in an example. And then once the batch is ready, by adding all the queries, you can call execute batch which returns an integer array. So say for example there are 10 values, 10 updates, like 5 updates and 10 inserts and all this such stuff. When you want to get response, the response would be obviously how many table rows that it has affected. It will not say that the result has been this, because it is not about results, it's about updation on the DB. So that's why we get integer arrays to display it, or you can get them into your Java application. Okay, so let's go and look at an example. See, in this example, the steps are same. Step 1, registering and loading the driver. Step 2, connecting to the database. Step 3, create a prepared statement. And then step 4, execute it using we are using execute batch. That's why we are doing like this. And then close the connection. Okay, so these are the 5 steps, right? So these are common. And then moving on to the execute update, how you can achieve it. So we have 2 new methods. One is add batch and execute batch. So we'll see how you can use them. So here it's the same. We are inserting into employee and the values, and we are taking Kiran as the value and then incrementing everything here. So let's change this Kiran to what should I change? It's hard to get names. Okay, I'll take an English name. Okay, So now John is already there, I guess. I take Siri. Okay, so the name would be Siri, and then I'm gonna insert records by incrementing one again. Okay, so but here if you see, each and every time I'm creating, see last example we have inserted, right, using prepared statement, we are executing it in the for loop itself. Whenever you create a PST statement, you are executing it right away. You're not waiting it or coming out of the loop. But here if you take, every time you create an object, is not executing it. The execution is commented. It is actually adding it to the batch using the prepared statement itself. So this batch, the add batch method, what it will do is it will have a list of similar kind of objects which will be saving these values, and then after the loop is done, that since there are no add batch methods, the PST execute batch will be executed. Execute batch is something which sends all the queries as a bunch of queries to the DB, so that they will execute and send back you the results. And the execution and sending back the results will give you an integer variable depending on how much we have executed. Okay, so this is an example. Let's go and execute this. Okay, now in this example, see this loop is only iterating for 2 times. If it is I less than or 2, it will only execute for 2 times. That is the reason we are adding 2 variables and adding them to the batch and then executing it. So that's why we are getting 2R as the result. I have just seen the result size using system.out.println and seen how many DB records have been updated. Since we are iterating only 2 values, we have got a response as 2. Okay, so this is how you can use add batch and then execute update. Execute batch. Any questions? Okay, no questions. Okay, so look at batch updates, how you can do it with the update query. We have another example here. I mean, last time we have seen insert, now we'll see execute update and see what is the integer results that we are getting. Okay, we have printed the result. Okay, so I'm just printing the length of the results so that you will understand how many records have been updated. So let's see. Let's execute the scroll test so that we can see what are the tags and what are available. So we'll take 10091. 10091. See, this is an update query where we want to change the department for the employee 1009 to IT. So that's what we are doing, and for other, okay, for 10090 we want to change that IT to accounts. So that is how it is working now. So according to our example that we have written till now, there should be these 2 records which are coming at the last should be updated with IT here and accounts here. Okay, so let's see how it works. And now if you look at the syntax, we are setting it for 1 time and then adding it and then setting it and then adding it, and then what after that is we are executing the update batch method. So let's go and run this program. Okay, now see this many records have been updated in the DB, that is 2. So now the last 2 records have been updated. If you execute the select query again and see, series 1 has been updated to ID and series 0 has been updated to accounts. Okay, because we are executing the first statement, the second one first and then the other way around. Okay, so this is how you can use execute batch and then add batch. Any questions? Are you there? Are you not able to understand? Okay. Now we'll move on to the next topic, which is transaction in this, and then with this we'll be done with JDBC. We'll have save point. Mostly we'll be covering today depending on our understanding. Okay. So next one would be transaction. So what is meant by transaction as per your idea? Anyone can tell me? Nobody's there, or you don't want to talk? Okay, tell me your names, guys. Tell me your names. Who is there on the other side? I can't see you, so you have to tell your names. So that from tomorrow I'll call your names and then make you talk. Now you'll not say your names also. Shiva? Shiva is also not there.
Aisha?
Yeah?
Shimla Aisha?
Is anybody there in the class?
Huh?
Is anybody there in the class?
Yeah, Ashwant is there.
But he's not responding.
Ashwant?
I think he dropped. Okay, shall we continue from tomorrow since nobody is there? And even if they have doubts, I cannot explain. Or maybe Ashwant might be on mute and he's still talking. Ashwant, unmute yourself if you're still talking, or if you're online. Shiva? Shiva, are you there? Okay, you may be busy. Shiva. Shiva.